Hello, and welcome to episode 88 of From Impossible to Inevitable. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's podcast. I am so grateful for you and so grateful that you're joining me today. For this episode, I am going to share about the second book in a trilogy by Ryan Holiday. The book is titled The Ego is the Enemy. A couple of weeks ago, I shared about the first one, which is titled The Obstacle is the Way. And in a few weeks, once I finish it, I will share about the third one, Stillness is the Key. So Ryan Holiday is such a cool guy. I mean, from his books. I don't know anything about his life personally. I didn't do any extra research. I've just read his books. But I think he's really cool because he takes these really deep concepts and then searches history, a whole expanse of history, to find examples, both good and bad, that illustrate these concepts so that you can see how you can apply these things in your life. You can see how people have applied them in their lives and what the effect or consequences of that was. And you can make decisions on how you want to live your life, how you want to progress and grow and become who you want to become. So this book, The Ego is the Enemy, is a great book. I really enjoyed it. There's lots in it that I have highlighted and underlined. And there is one concept that really stuck out to me that I wanted to share with you. And he brings this concept in from another author. And that author's name is Robert Greene. So according to Robert Greene, I'm going to read this straight from the book. According to Greene, there are two types of time in our lives: dead time, when people are passive and waiting, and alive time, when people are learning and acting and utilizing every second. So I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what dead time and alive time are for you in your life. I was talking to Jake about this over lunch last week or so, and I realized this is such a highly individual thing. Only you know if you are utilizing your time as a lifetime or if it's falling dead time for you. So let's bring in a few examples. Dead time can be standing in line at the grocery store. It can be a commute. It can be sitting through my daughter's gymnastics lessons. It can be arriving early to school and just sitting there. It can be anything where I'm just still and just have nothing to do. It can be that. It doesn't have to be. Standing in line at the grocery store may be a needed reprieve from a super busy day. It can be, sure, you can classify it if you want as dead time, but it can also be such a rejuvenating, revitalizing time. What if this is the only moment you've had to stand still since the moment you got up? That's valuable still. If you're taking that moment to really breathe in, center yourself, be present, and prepare yourself for the next half of the marathon, that doesn't necessarily mean that's wasted time. Same with arriving to my kids' school early and just sitting there. I have often, and by often I mean daily, I try to get there at least 15 minutes early. Ideally, I'm 20 minutes early because I want to sit and recenter. Now, this isn't a time I'm dinking around on my phone. It's not a time I'm playing mindless games. It is a time I am recentering. Sometimes I'm napping. Sometimes I'm meditating. Sometimes I'm writing or sketching or drawing. Sometimes I'm just sitting there thinking about how grateful I am for the day I've had and for the things that I still get to do. That I'm grateful that I get to be the one that picks up my girls from school every day and that I get to catch all of their initial excitement. I get to be a part of their world for a little bit. And so that's not dead time to me. Sure, I may not be active, I'm not consuming content, I'm not learning, but I am still investing in my well-being and my own stillness. Active time, also super necessary. This is where the things get done. This is where you grow, where you learn, where you become better, where you become more of who you want to be. This is the alive time. This is the alive time. This is the time that makes you feel alive. And it is extremely active. And you need this time, and you need its balance. Yesterday, I had booked myself pretty solid, and I utilized every single moment of that day. I had every hour scheduled. I had my breaks scheduled. I was prepared with what I was going to do while my daughter was in gymnastics. So nothing was wasted. And I really filled in all the cracks on the day. And at the end of the day, I felt really accomplished. I had done a lot. I was super productive and I was exhausted because even though I had scheduled in my breaks and I had taken those breaks, it still was a book day end to end. And from coming back from summer and just like getting back into a routine and a swing of things, it was a lot. So at the end of the day, I definitely gave myself that grace of some dead time. Like, I'm not thinking, I'm not meditating, I am not reading, I am not doing anything. I am simply sitting here being a sack of meat because I did a lot and now I'm done. You need both. I would argue you need both. Intentionally so. And that's the key, isn't it? It's intentionally. If you want to take a break from your busy schedule and dink around on social media or play a game on your phone or whatever, and you've got a 10-minute timer set, and that is intentional dead time so that you are prepared and ready to go for your next block of active alive time, do it. You have to go through cycles of rest and activity throughout your day, your week, your month, and your year. This is necessary. It's how you should operate in order to sustain your energy and in order to keep going, or else you'll burn out. It'll be too much. So, as you think about what's alive time and what's dead time to you, think about using those times intentionally. If you're supposed to be getting something done and you're dinking around on your phone, that's dead time, and it's an unintentional use of dead time. While I was, I had the opportunity yesterday to go over to Starbucks and get some work done, and I really just kind of hammered it out. And of course, I'm still aware of my surroundings. I'm still aware of the people who are near me, and I noticed people come in and they pull out a laptop, and then they get their phone out. And then the whole hour and a half they were there in Starbucks. I don't know what they were doing. I'm not judging. I'm just telling a story. You get to interpret it however you want to. But the whole time they were there, their laptop was out on the table, but they were on their phone the whole time. And it made me wonder, like, did you get lost? Did you kind of get sucked in? Were you supposed to be doing something on your laptop and then your time ran out and you had to go? What happened? Like, it just makes me curious because I pulled my laptop out. I put on a focus so nobody could get to me and distract me. I put my phone away. I got to work and I got a lot done. But it made me wonder, and I don't know. I truly don't know. Maybe they were going to pull their laptop out and watch a movie and they never got to it. I don't know. But it felt like they didn't do what they intended to do. And that's where the problem is. That's where the real issue is when you intended to use this period of time for this specific thing, and then you got lost in dead time. You got lost on your phone. You got lost in the internet. You got lost wherever you got lost. That's where the problem is. Now, we all get lost. I get lost too. And sometimes, most of the time when I get lost, I'm lost for a few days, and not straight, I still get things done, but I spend more time or more of my time is spent in dead time than in alive time, because I'm not quite calibrated. But once I get the calibration right, all bets are off, man. I'm off to the races, and it's the best. But it happens. It's about getting back on track intentionally. So he poses this to you. So dead time, it's not just lost. He says dead time is revived when we use it as an opportunity to do what we've long needed to do. So can make a change at any point. And then I love this. He said, what if we said to ourselves, obviously, this is an opportunity for me. I am using it for my purposes. I will not let this be dead time for me. And yesterday in my super busy booked day, end to end, that's kind of what I said to myself. I said, this is an opportunity. I only had one daughter with me, and she was in gymnastics, and there was something I needed to get done. I had enough time to do it, and I knew if I just put my head down and did it, it'd be done, and I would never have to think about it again, because that's the kind of task it was. So I had decided that morning, I'm going to use that block of time. I am not going to waste it. It is an opportunity for me, and I'm going to use it for my purposes. You get that chance every day if you look for it. Okay? If you've got commutes, plan out some podcasts that you can listen to make this a live, active learning and growth time for you. Maybe my podcast, I don't know. Or an audiobook, go buy an audiobook or whatever it is, however it is that you want to infuse your day with a little bit more alive time. Do it. And I would invite you to think about how alive time and dead time make you feel. We've all had days where it's been nothing but dead time. I have straight up had days where I only got out of bed every hour when my watch told me, you should stand up. And so I'd stand up, but the rest of the day I would spend playing video games in bed. I've done that a few times. Sometimes I needed it. Okay. But sometimes I didn't really need it. I just wanted to play games. That's dead time. At the end of that day, you feel like crap. You're like, well, crap, I just wasted today. When you spend your day in a majority of alive time, you feel so much more alive, right? You contributed, you did things got done, things were different because you were there to do them. You were there to contribute, and you arrived, you showed up. There we go. You showed up, and you feel that difference in your body at the end of the day. You even feel that difference bit by bit. If you finish a task, if you power through an hour of work or on a project or whatever, you feel that difference in your body. Think about that. And as you think about that, see if it kind of encourages you a little bit. Maybe you need to shift your time. Maybe you need to have just a little bit more dead time so you're not so crazy and frantic. Maybe you need a lot more alive time. Think about it. It's all up to you. And there's no right or wrong necessarily, because it's so highly individual. Only you know if you are using your time to the best of your ability and if there's room for improvement. Only you know that. Okay? So be intentional. That's really what I'm inviting you to do. Be intentional with your time and how you spend it, and be aware of how the different types of time make you feel. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. I send you my love. Until next time. Bye for now.